childhood friend who is the preacher of the community, a former slave, and who is studying to be a school teacher, which he eventually, an ambition he fulfills at the end of the novel when he becomes a school teacher and principal. So I'm going to read you the two speeches by Nimbus and by Eliab Hill, the preacher. We've got to take care of ourselves, Nimbus said. The government has been doing a heap for us. It's given us ourselves, our wives, our children, and a chance to do for ourselves and for them. And now we've got to do it. If we don't stand together and keep the white folks from taking away what we've got, we never gets no more. In fact, we just goes backwards instead of forwards till you can't tell the difference twixt a free nigger and a real old-time slave. That's my opinion. And I say now's the time to begin, just when day begins. If a man turns off every single one for coming to this meeting, every hand that is to work for him ought to leave him to once, and nary colored man ought to do a stroke of work for him till he takes him back. So Nimbus is advocating a strike, and he in fact offers to underwrite them during this strike. So there's a tremendous discussion. Some people cheer him on, other people say it's all very well for you to say you own your own land, I can't afford to do this. And then Eliab Hill steps in to try to bring these voices together. There is too much truth, Eliab said, in all that has been said here today. Brother Nimbus is right in saying that we must guard our rights and privileges most carefully if we would not lose them. The other brother is right, too, in saying that few of us can exercise those privileges if the white men stand together and refuse employment to those who persist in voting against them. It is a terrible question, fellow citizens, and one that it is hard to deal with. Every man should do his duty and vote and act as a citizen whenever called to do so, for the sake of his race in the future. We should not be weakly and easily driven from what has been gained for us. We may have to suffer, perhaps to fight and die, but our lives are nothing to the inheritance we may leave our children. At the same time, we should not grow impatient with our brethren who cannot walk with us in this way. I believe that we shall win from this contest the supreme seal of our race's freedom. It may not come in our time, but it will be set on the foreheads of our children. At all events, we must work together, aid each other, comfort each other, stand by each other. God has taught us patience by generations of suffering and waiting, and by the light which came afterwards. We should not doubt him now. Let us face our danger like men, overcome it if we may, and if not, bow to the force of the storm and gather strength, rooting ourselves deep and wide while it blows, in order that we may rise erect and free when it shall have passed. But above all things, there must be no disagreement. The colored people must stand or fall together. Those who have been as fortunate as our brother Nimbus may breast the tempest, and we must all struggle on and up to stand beside them. It will not do to weakly yield or rashly fight. Remember that our people are on trial, and more than mortal wisdom is required of us